Waco, and all this old other stuff. Well, I'm smart enough to know how to do it a hell of a lot different than what they've done. And one reason is we're out in the public. The best hiding place is out in the open sometimes. And then not only that, you just don't have one place, you have quite a few places. Does that make any sense? Now the devil, you can't stop him from doing whatever he's going to do. He's going to do what he's going to do because he's the devil. But we should be able to do what we're doing because we're Israelites. So that the book says right here, and all that believe were together, and read on.
And had all things common.
So, this is also another area where you can hear the devil speak very loud. Even if you think about trying to obey this portion of the book right here, and this ain't only the portion, this is not the only portion, first thing comes up in your mind. Lord, first thing they're going to do, they're going to get you out there, and they're going to do this, and they're going to get you out there, and they're going to do that, and they're going to take this, and they're going to take that. And everybody ever heard the voice before? Yeah. So when you start thinking about it, it's like, man, you never even had that stuff until. But that should automatically let you know that if the devil's resisting it, it's got to be the truth. And it's got to be right. What other lifestyle do you know where Israelite women can actually do what God designed for them to do, to where they don't have to go out on a natural job and work? I didn't say they don't work, because they do work on the land. To where they are put in positions to when they have these babies, your babies, that they can actually be the first line teachers to them. I mean, because there's no really higher calling in the universe than mother. I don't understand why we continue to keep allowing ourselves to have this system to teach our children their morals, their values, their systems of ethics. And then when our children come home, we wonder why we have troubles and issues and problems with them. Because they've been out there rubbing elbows with the Gentiles all day long. They've been rubbing Gentiles all day long. They're going to act like the Gentiles because they're around them or think like them. And it's just simply it's not going to work for us. So the book, even though Yahshua talked about it, now the apostles talking about it, very few people are motivated to actually get it done. And one reason I don't want to get it done is because of selfishness or fears. What if somebody try to take advantage of me? Or what about you trying to take advantage of somebody else? You know what I mean? We have concerns and we have doubts. And they come up because we are not in a position and place where we need to be. And so what the Most High God has done is show you that in the midst of this wicked and perverse generation, that it can be done. That it literally can be done. And see, I know, because I remember I brought this up in Apostolic Church to old Bishop Mulberry. And he told me at that time, I think I was 25, 26 years old, somewhere along there. He told me at that time, he said, you just want somebody to take care of you. And I said, I ain't never asked nobody to take care of me. I said, well, this is what the book says. And why is it that we don't do it? He said, it won't work. It ain't never worked. I said, maybe it's not working because ain't nobody never tried. Hear that? So, I had 10 years in the army, then I got out. Because I had an unction in my spirit, and then I put it to the test. And boy, you talking about going through hell and high water. I've been through it. I started off straight away. It was 90% melanated people. 90%. Some of the most difficult people I ever dealt with in my life. We talk about the white man, and what everybody else is doing, and we still forget that we are under the curses, and our minds are still cursed until we become obedient. We point so many fingers and practice deflection at everybody else, and then we forget that we're our own worst enemy. And so, if you see the model of straight right, you can see that it can be done and it is being done. And the book says that he's going to take people out of these nations. And he's going to set them down in the kingdom. And he says, but the children of the kingdom are going to be thrust out in the outer darkness where there's going to be weeping and gnashing of teeth. People have different doctrines to try to make sure that can't nobody get into the kingdom but melanated people. Now, I know the hatred is real. Believe me, I get it. But why is it that we always talk about the white man, the white man, the white man? Nobody ever talks about the Hamites. I mean, if we're going to follow the doctrines that you can't mix race, which is stupid if you use that term, the Bible don't talk about race. It talks about nationality, nations. Then what does it say about us in the Hamites? Do we not intermingle with the Hamites? Did not Joseph, who had his name changed to Zephaniah Paneah, marry a Hamite? Why is it always just the white man only? We need to be asking questions like that. Well, today we're faced with a beacon of light staring us right in our face, showing you that it can be done, that people can be free, that brothers and sisters can live together in unity and in harmony. But it's going to come at great sacrifice, because the book uses an analogy like this, that iron sharpens iron. You know who that iron is? Look to your left, look to your right, and when you get home, look in the mirror. That's that iron. You are difficult, extremely difficult to live with and to deal with. Each and every one, you got to come to these realities. So the dying that the book's talking about, when it says, I die daily, it's talking about you. You got a lot of your ways you have to die out too in order for this thing to work. Now straightway it's probably like 65, 70% Caucasian. Because I get the white brothers and the white sisters and people from other nations to obey me better than I can my own people. There was a so-called Hebrew that tried to get this particular meeting stopped again for the second time. Y'all see our security team, y'all see them at Detroit, Michigan. I'm the Hebrew Man of the Year, they said, but now they don't want to invite the Hebrew Man of the Year back no more. How you be the Hebrew Man of the Year and you get ostracized? Huh? That doesn't make any sense to you, does it? What did I do wrong? You know what I mean? Wow. I mean, how many of you sisters work on the job? Because you have to. Ain't no big deal, raise your hand. I mean, you want to work on the job. We got the answer. It may take you a while to get there, if you understand what I mean. It may take you a while to get there. Our sisters will never, ever have to worry about a retirement. Never have to worry about a mortgage, rent, light bill, phone bill, food, clothing, all the so-called necessities of life. When they come to the communities, they actually have more than what they had in the world. It's just that now when they're married, they're under authority. And there's one thing that the Persians had right. I remember the king of the Persians, he was throwing a party. And he had a wife by the name of Vashti. Remember her? And the king, along about the seventh day of the party, where he had all his chambers and everybody, all the dignitaries around from the king, making merry, he wanted to bring Vashti, but he was throwing a party, so Vashti wanted to throw a party too. And then he wanted to show everybody how beautiful his wife was. And of course, you know the story, right? She wasn't born for that. And you know what the governors and all the people of wisdom said in the kingdom? Remind you, this is a heathen kingdom. At this time, they are dominating and ruling the world. They said, we got to get you to do something about this Vashti. Because if we don't do something about her, the spirit that she has on her is going to teach all women of the kingdom to dishonor and disrespect their husbands. Is that right? Is that right? So the solution is this: put her away and find somebody. Say that word. One more time. I mean, there's always somebody better than a rebellious wife. She was a queen. First order of business in Israel is that, men, if you got wives that don't go the way you have them to go, get rid of them. Your apocrypha teaches you that. Because it ain't going to work. It just simply ain't going to work. Women, you have a role. Man, you have a role. And you want, if you're going to develop families, you want the children to see a godly role. Am I right? A role that is done from the strictness and the sincerity of the actual book itself. We come out of the world because we have to rewalk and start keeping the commandments, but we still have the residue of the world on us. We still act worldly, we think worldly, we love worldly things. And the book says, love not the world, neither the things that are in the world. Is that right? So the first order of business is, husbands, talking about men, the way that we honor and reverence the Most High Yah, you've got to teach your wives to do the same. You can tell how much I love Yah because I'm a good wife to him. I'm a very obedient wife to him. And so wives, you do have an example. Sisters, you do have an example of men that fear God. That you can have an example to know what that real true submission is so that we can raise a godly seed. Does that make sense? It's not going to work in community if everybody don't get in that role. Everybody has a role to play. Women have duties. Brothers, men have duties. The men don't do the women duties, and the women don't do the men duties. There's no such thing as, how many of y'all believe in this ecumenical doctrine of equality? How many of y'all believe in equality? Y'all must be good informed Israelites. How many of y'all women believe that you're equal to a man? The world does, they teach them that. They teach them that until you start saying, I wonder why there's not many women bricklayers. If we're going to have equality, why aren't there many women working on skyscrapers? Dangerous jobs. We're going to have equality. Why are men disproportionately incarcerated in prison than women are if we got equality? Isn't it amazing? The first thing they do is they start off with this equality crap, and they use the military as a guinea pig. But we got equality. I mean, y'all know our brother Daniel Muir, right? Oh, Daniel Muir, right? He's a big old man. And women are just good as any man. Why don't she just go ahead and line up in nose guard or center, strap it up and get after it with it? So there is differences. You see how foolish this stuff is? It's all a trick of Satan to get you out of your role. And men, you shouldn't be stressing your wives to where they can't do their role. The Torah says your job is to provide food, clothing, conjugal rights. You don't mind the conjugal rights. You don't mind the food. You got to provide, she has to cook it. You got to provide the clothing. When you understand and read the Torah, they are designed by the Most High God to be taken care of from cradle to grave. See, we're so outside of our culture. And so we don't even know how far away from Yah that we are. So then when we get around straightway, we wonder why all these miracles and signs and we wonder how all these people who at one time used to be one way, and all of a sudden we see them all transformed. That's because we are doing everything we can to obey what that Bible says. Regardless, behest what the world puts out here and tries to paint us, or even people in religion. Makes no difference. Totally irrelevant. But the way we get things done is we combine our resources. I control all the money at the community straightway. And everybody up there has money in their pocket. I just had a brother just wreck one of my Cadillacs. You see it? I'll show it to you. Backing out in the busy highway. He don't have to pay car insurance, but it's gonna make my car insurance go up. I got a nice little 2008 Cadillac yesterday, man. That thing was doing good until you right there. We're gonna deal with stuff like that. Incompetent brothers. People have mind issues and troubles. We do deliverance all the time. I just got finished buying and adding another 10.8 acres next to Straightway. Whenever the Most High God moves on y'all to actually give, because I have my own business. I make my own money. And then I get contributions from the saints. And you know, I got many businesses. Y'all got three businesses. They community make their own money that I know of, with the exception of Brother James. Brother James is the only one working out on the economy, right? He works with y'all now. So all the brothers work for the business of the community. Did y'all hear that? Isn't that beautiful? And they don't like anything. Another 2 acres of land that became available down there, and told him to talk to the guy, the people who did on and stuff. He said, yeah, we got it. Now we're arguing over who's going to pay for it. Isn't that a good argument? Who's going to buy it? Who's going to buy it? I'm going to buy it. I don't know what they're going to do. You buy it. I buy it. You buy it. Only man. Why? Because the saints going to live on it, not us. What's wrong with that? Are you afraid to go against wind and tide? Are you afraid to obey God? Do what he says? You see, you also have to have a dynamic there that there has to be kindred spirits. And you have to know what it means. Remember the story of the centurion? Yeah. Where he was a man in authority and he had people under authority. And he himself is under authority. So he understood authority when Yahshua was speaking. He said, I can tell men to come, and they will come. I'll tell them to go, they will go. My question to you, who can tell you anything? I mean, you let your job boss you around, but not a righteous man who has your soul first and foremost in mind. Believe it or not, we're not designed to be alone. You wouldn't believe how beautiful it is. The book says it like this: behold how beautiful and how pleasant it is for brethren to dwell together in unity. You wouldn't know how beautiful it is until you do it. You see, you come to a community, if you're a sister, you got to divest yourself of rebellion, envy, jealousy, strife, contention. Brothers, when you come to a community, guess what? You got to divest yourself of rebellion, envy, jealousy, strife, and contention. You're going to be told what to do and when to do it. I don't understand why it's a big deal. The very system that we say we hate, we go out there and submit to it. And when they tell us to come, we come. When they tell us to go, we go. And yet you don't have no problem submitting to that, but you have a problem submitting to a righteous man. And they are the righteous elder on the community or community head. Hey, Brother Stephen, how many thousands of dollars did he pay off in debt? Brother Steve, the head of the community up there in New York. He had over $100,000 in debt. You know what he did? He followed the example of his pastor. Anybody know what I did to get out of debt? Y'all should know the story better than me. How many jobs? Come on, man. Young men for their strength, old men for their wisdom. I busted my ass. I worked my ass off. I was young. Now I'm getting old. Does that make sense? I shouldn't have to work now the way I did when I was young. And I still work pretty hard. Does that make sense? I mean, let's think about this for a second. We can't do it that way because what kind of life is it if you're 50-something years old and you still don't own nothing? You're 50-something years old and you're still in debt. You're 50 years old and you're still a slave to the system. The borrower is a servant to the lender, a slave. And if you sown nothing in your youth, how do you expect to have anything in your old age? If you're not willing to make the sacrifice when you're young, who's going to do it for you when you get old? See, so you have to change this mind. You have to learn how to, listen, we remember this, submit yourselves one another in the fear of Yah. So that all that believe were together and had all things. Read on.
And sold their possessions.
They sold their possessions and they took them and put it in the bank and kept them for themselves.
Nope.
Read.
And goods, and parted them to all men, as every man had need.
Y'all hear that? They didn't keep them for themselves. They parted them to all men as every man had need. That's what we do. We got families on the community. I don't know, Jordan, all our children are born on the community. And they have a home. There used to be a time when I didn't even have air conditioning or running water. 9 years of sacrifice. 9 years of dealing with insults and indignities. Cult, fanatic, crackpot, cool. We got them people out there crapping in buckets and peeing in buckets and all that. Nobody, they do a hell of a lot of complaining, but ain't nobody trying to help you. So while I started listening to your complaint, to me it's not valid, because those that complain now, I'm on the flip side. And they're still in the same position that they were when they were calling me all these names. That makes sense? Within a matter of within 5 years, we went from 1 to 10 communities. 10. And it ain't easy changing you. You ain't easy to change. You are something. Did you know that? But I do know this. If I never ever went this way to obey what the Bible says, I will never be as set apart. I will never be as holy like the Bible says, or obedient to Yah's word as I am now. Or the people that has come. You are going to be hard pressed to find another people in America that has more beautiful spirits than our sisters, more set apart, more serious about God, and being delivered and helping people get free. I don't know of anybody outside of the communities. I don't know anybody who lives to a greater standard and a greater dedication to God. As we always say, we've been where you are, but you ain't been where we are. We know what you're dealing with because we've been there, as the old saying goes, done that. But if you really truly want to see the hand of God, the blessings of God in your life, first order of business, set it out. Give it to the poor. Who's the poor? What does the book say? The poor are the ones who have the message preached to them.
That's right.
Then you'll have great riches. Nobody don't want your money as long as it's your money. Does that make sense? It's so blessed to be able to live the way we live that nobody is trying to bust down the gates to leave the communities. We have to try to keep people from trying to get in them. Now, we're not really trying to keep people from getting in. We're trying to keep the wrong type of people from getting in. So we have ways we do things to vet people. We tell them, come for a visit. And while you come for a visit, you're checking out everything, you're discerning this up, and you doing all this, and we're walking around like this. And you think you're checking out, but you don't know you're being checked out. See, because I can be trusted.
That's right.
I don't know if you can be trusted.
Right.
I have a proven track record. You don't have one. You know me, but I don't know you. I know them, all of them. I know that there ain't nothing that these men will not do for the ministry. They finished with their life the day, they were finished somewhat when they already knew Yeshua, but they were finished when they heard the message and knew what they needed to do. They were done. Therefore, if any man be in Christ, he is a what? New creature. Old things are passed away, and behold, all things become new. So when you get to a community, if you're in the military, anybody ever been in the military before here? Anybody raise your hand if you're in the military? When you go in the military, boy, they got rules, don't they? They got regulations, don't they? And it makes no difference if you like it or not. Is that right? You just do what you're told, don't you? One of the most militant organizations that there is in America, and it's celebrated. And the favorite pastime is drink all the beer you can. But then, when it says obey them to have a rule over you, all of a sudden you have problems with that. And submit yourself to they that must give an account. Then we have problems with obeying Yah. So you get somebody like me, Rufus, Pastor Corey, Brother Brigg, all these different heads of different places and communities. So guess what? When you come there, your excuse is gone. You don't have no excuse to kick, to rebel, to fuss, to fight, or any of that. We take away all your excuses. There's none. All that is left when all the excuses is gone is just you. And you, many of you ain't never met me. Because you have never been in a place to be able to meet you. You are a very ugly person. You just don't know it. You look good when we all come here together. But boy, you are something else. And I ain't saying that like in a good way either. You are something else. I can say that based on true experience. I have experience. I just got finished moving another Caucasian couple on the community. Now we're sitting at 70% Caucasian, 30% other. On the way down here, I had a guy trying to reverse the psychology on me and try to accuse me of being a racist. When I checked him on his racist spirit, got him too. Brought him out in the open, flushed him out, so everybody could see him. If you know someone that can speak well, if you know someone that know what the hell they're doing, why would you want to go pick a fight with them, especially a verbal fight? When you sit here still, it makes no sense. You don't go, if you're going to be at war with someone, first sit down and consider what you have before them. And if you figure out you can't win this war, then seek for conditions of peace. Isn't that true? That's the same way it is in the kingdom. Some of you, believe it or not, within 5 years, you're probably going to be on the community. Some of you, we ain't going to never see again. Sitting right here. Probably never see you again. Never hear from you again. Offense is one of the biggest things that there is that will cause people to betray one another, to hate one another. An offense. But first order of business is sell all that you have. What I do from there, live simple. Start right now where you're at. You see a place that you think the Most High Yah is dealing with, we have so many people that has uprooted their lives and moved around the communities. And they're taking care of their families, they're learning how to live a simple life. They come to visit communities, they're there every Sabbath, they're able to keep the commandment. In other words, they're doing exactly what they can to make themselves available to show that they're serious about serving Yah. Very serious. So instead of living in the cities, they uproot their families and they move out in the country. And they live close enough to where they can actually come to every Shabbat service. They live close enough that if the husband is going to work, the children, the wife and the children, they can bring the children to the community and then they're around the sisters, because the brothers are on one end of the community doing stuff and the sisters on the other end. There's little to no interaction between brothers and sisters on the community, because we're too busy doing our jobs. We don't have the same issues and trouble. We don't have to worry about, you go to work, brother, that's your wife, girlfriend, sister, cousin, what is she? Friend? Okay. You love your friend? I mean, you just love your friend. I know my friend now. I'm saying, wouldn't it be disturbing to you that if you was gone to a place and you went to work and you came back and found out your friend has been very uncomfortably spoken to by a so-called brother? Would that not piss you off? Her being a friend, that piss me off too, wouldn't it? We don't have to worry about that on community. One end to another. You get it? All the things that you're concerned about. Well, see, and she, just by the way she looks and the way he looks, we get rid of red shoes, but anyway, she, stand up for a second, sister. She would be automatically ready for a community with the exception of that necklace. Because our sisters don't wear jewelry. We learned that from the book. God gave it to us at one time, then he stripped it away from us because we didn't know how to have respect for God. Brothers, we don't run around with shorts on so that women can see our hairy legs. We maintain holiness too. It looks like they have restrictions or things there that that's the way we have to carry ourselves too. Right. And most of you grown up in America, you think you hot. This is how you Americans think. All you Americans. I've seen so many grotesque people out here with shorts on and bellies hanging over them and up to here and no shame. And I go, these people think they hot. I've been overseas. Well, again, you've been to the desert, ain't you? Several times. Some people take off clothes or they put on clothes. They put more on. They wear nice linen. Cover up their whole entire bodies. That's hot. This ain't hot. Soon as the sun hits you, you do just like the Gentiles. You start stripping everything off. When you actually stay more cooler when clothes are on. Learn not the ways of the heathen. So there's a lot that has to be changed. That makes sense? But you can't do it. So last year we had, 40-some acres. Now this year we have 101 acres. Just got another community. And you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to continue to keep moving Israelites on. Faithful Israelites. The ones who can get it. Is that not beautiful? When we get old, it's our job to be able to teach the children or generation that's coming behind us how to maintain what we've built for them so that the system don't take it. We have to teach them how to deal with the heathens, how to raise them in the fear and admonition of God so we can keep this thing going successive. Because you know what happens with our people after two generations, right? You had Moses, and then who came after Moses? Joshua, and then what happened to Israel? See, you have to go in this full well knowing, because I'm hoping that the king come before I get real old. You understand what I mean? Personally, I would love if he would just come right now. I'd be fine. You got to be willing to transform your heart and lay it down. You got to be willing to trust. Everybody ain't going to do things your way. We're going to do it God's way. You may not like God's way, but God can ask you. Hallelujah. It is a sacrifice. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to open this up for quick. I'm just gave you a quick summary. I'm going to open this up for questions and answers because I like having interaction with you. Don't feel ashamed of asking the question. There's no question But the only dumb question is what they say in school is a question they ain't even asked. Feel free to ask whatever you want. Makes no difference to me. I talk about everything. Run from nothing. Yeah, please. Yeah, you can get them. I can use that one. You can y'all can ask any questions. If I have an answer, I'll give you an answer. If I don't, I won't. Fair enough. Male and female, you don't. You can ask questions, okay? Go ahead.
That's Bosh on Chase. This is Brother Mary. My question is just a real simple one. I wanted to see who I can link up with in North Carolina that I can come and worship with and fellowship with.
Where you at in North Carolina?
Button.
That's the middle of North Carolina.
It's on the other side of the building.
Hey, stand up, you. See our ranger? He's our head of security right there. He's in North Carolina. Okay. And see, that's a good question because see, the first thing you do is you start off by getting around saints on the Shabbats. You spend each other time together so you can learn each other. And that's how you start growing. All right, next question. Oh, you mean tell me all y'all come and don't have questions?
What's going on?
What's going on, man?
From Tallahassee, straight from Tallahassee. But I watched one of your videos about the fringes, and you was like, it's not recommended or something.
No, I didn't say that.
I'm putting words in your mouth, but so do we need to have more fringes?
I
is that a
usually
choice?
preface that question like this. I go, okay. Watch this, man. Watch this. What we like doing is being obedient to some things. These things you ought to have done and not left the other undone. There's a requirement in Torah for people to actually wear, is it fringes or tzitzits? Is it, what I have? Do I have it on? Am I sinning or breaking the law? Tzitzits is, stand up, brothers. That's tzitzits. These are fringes. All right? When we were in captivity, do we wear the fringes in the Greek captivity? The Roman captivity? Any other captivities? What I usually tell people is that before you come to the knowledge of something like this, we deal with the same thing you do in the book of Acts. So that we don't trouble these people that are coming from the Gentiles, we give you three things that you do. The first thing you do is you abstain from blood. And things offered from idols and from fornication. If you do these, then fare you well. What is that saying? Start there first and then work your way up. Because there's things that I'm doing that ain't never even entered into your mind that you should be doing from the obedience of God. But the majority of our people in ministry wear either tzitzits or fringes. Would that cause you to receive me or reject me if I didn't have it on? Y'all, does that make sense? Did I answer the question? Did I give you an answer? I'm asking. Say something. All right? But it's up there. You may go days and not even see, you may see some brothers, including me, not even wearing. I don't want to sit up there and have on a nice shirt like that, laying blocks and mess it up. Does that make sense? But when I'm up ministering, I'm always up being an example. I don't, believe it or not, I don't wear fringes when I'm in the house around my sides. Believe it or not, when they're in the house, they don't even wear head covers. They like letting their hair breathe. You see what I'm getting to? He asked the question, but I'm not going to get him. What I'm trying to do is get y'all to think. But sometimes people get so religious on the external, on the outward adornment, that they forget the real in the inward man. Yeah. So we do all of these. We look religious, but we're powerless. We look religious, we have no holiness. We look religious, but we're not obedient. I'm not saying obedient. Are y'all following? So what good is it good to look the part, but you don't live the part? You see him out there on YouTube. Look how disobedient those people are. Disobedient, but I'll tell you what, they're dressed to spec. Next question. There's a sister back there too.
Yeah, Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
How long does it take for an Israelite or man to grow into the development of a true Israelite or close to it before he is kind of like being trusted in the community?
That depends on, let me see. I said, blessed are those which hunger and thirst after righteousness, for they shall be filled. Everybody's appetite for y'all is different. That make sense? My appetite just has to be extreme in my love for him. So it depends on where you are at, how hungry you are. Because we can recognize righteousness. You understand what I mean? Everybody is just not as sincere about serving Yah as they are. You know what I mean? Sense? So it depends on your appetite, how hungry you are for him. Next question.
Pastor, I was going to ask, you said make sure our doctrine is right, so what Bibles would you recommend studying?
Oh, anyone you can get your hand on. I used to do videos a long time ago, but when I come to meetings, I use the King James. I use the King James on the slides, on PowerPoint. But I have the RSV, New American Standard Version, the Scriptures, the Sefer. I have all of these books. And the reason why I have all these books is because I can't trust one translation to the next. And then I also have the Septuagint. You know what that is, right? No, okay, it's just the Greek. It's the Greek form of the Scriptures. I have the Septuagint. I have a lot of, I have a Brown's Robert Briggs. That's not the Scripture, but this is resources, a lot of resources. All right, I also compare cultural analysis with Josephus. You ever heard of Josephus? All right, and I also try to make sure that I get into the minds, because remember Jeremiah said, surely the penmanship of the scribe is in vain, right? So people have done, if you ever watch any of my teachers and stuff, you see I rip this English Bible apart. I'm not ripping the word apart, I'm ripping what they have done to it apart to try to change our minds. They have purposely inserted words so that our minds would go down this way. They know our minds would go this way because we've been to their schools. We've been taught by them. And so when we study, like the book says, that's the command, study to show yourself approved. And you study as if you're studying for y'all to learn his ways. So I use a lot of resources and put them together. So when I'm up here going over this word, you may not ever have heard the way that I'm breaking it down, but your spirit automatically resonates with it. Because the spirit of truth goes, that is the truth right there. Because you're hearing, your spirit man is hearing. So don't be afraid, because you come out of America, you come on, I was King James only. So use all the books you can. Put it together. But we should have to worry about that. Just listen to me. Listen to your elders. You know what I mean? Next question. Way over here. Y'all ain't got no hard questions.
I have brother Oscar's Monroe from South Carolina.
Yeah.
Is there anybody else that we because he be busy and stuff like that?
He ain't that busy, the house y'all ain't that busy.
Is there anybody else that we can feel?
I tell you, you in South Carolina, right?
Yes, sir.
You know, what you do is you get his information and just give it to Elder Austin.
All right.
There you go. Right over there. Okay.
Yes, Pastor, I have a question. Now, I have 3 sons from all this country. A moment ago, he was talking about maybe having a rebellious wife.
Mhm.
and continue. You say something about football work.
Mhm.
What do you need to think? If you are married, I need a little sister, and I've been there for a while. What you're saying is that he should divorce her
Yes.
through the world system, or just write a note and say, okay, this is it.
No, if you got married through the world system, you have to dissolve that contract in the world system. Because remember, the scriptures also warn us against making contracts with these people out here. That makes sense. You can't just walk away from it because they're going to come get you. Hey, when you get finished with him, all the way down there in the yellow shirt. Yes, sir.
I'd also like to find out if you're from Orlando, Florida in general. I just fellowship with this guy, man, in this room when I got here. And I was surprised to figure out that most of the people in this room are not even from Florida. So I make sure me and him both fellowship.
Did y'all hear that? If there's anybody here from Orlando, Florida, y'all need to see his face. Y'all need to walk right over to him as soon as we done. And y'all trade information because apparently they want to be able to fellowship together in Shabbat. That's how you first start growing. What another girl at? She's a counselor someone? Oh, it's fine. Don't worry about it. Mom never used to wear makeup. Oh, come on. I'm never. Pants, short shorts. Look at her now.